What is going on, guys? It is Joe back again talking about the Kansas State Wildcats. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be discussing the transfer portal, and I know basketball is a little bit less active halfway through the year for the transfer portal, but Kansas State has a roster spot available, and there's a couple of guys I want to discuss in today's video as things start to close down here in a week or so. For K-State, spring semester starts, I believe, on the 16th, so look for some action here in the next week. But we've got a couple of people to talk about. Before I do get into specific names, let me remind you, if you like K-State athletics, if you like K-State basketball, football, anything K-State, this is the place for you. This YouTube channel is right for you. Be sure and consider subscribing. It is free. Don't worry if not, but I do appreciate it, and it does help me out immensely. Now, starting things off here, this is actually the second time I decided to record this video. The first time I recorded it this morning when there were 3 players available that I wanted to talk about. Now there's 2. And if you didn't see it, there's massive news out of Orlando. UCF landing Mikey Williams, the former Memphis transfer, did not play at Memphis this season for legal reasons as well as gun charge reasons. They're working to get him back on the court. Should he play this season, that's a massive get. If he doesn't, still a massive get. He's a former top 40 player, comparable to a Bronny James or an Isaiah Collier for USC. In this case, I thought K-State had a shot, but there was the immediate, okay, there's some legal issues and some ramifications that would come with that you'd have to figure out. UCF eliminated that conversation. They went all in on Mikey Williams. Mikey Williams is now committed to UCF. That being said, that does propose an interesting change to the 3 dudes I wanted to discuss. Now, at the time you're watching this video, there's 2 dudes that I'm focused on. Could that change in the next 14 hours or so, whenever you're seeing this, between when I'm recording it and you seeing it? Yes, absolutely. If it does change to the point where there's all right, we got to talk about this dude, I will have another video. But as for right now, there are 2 guys I have to discuss. The first player I do want to mention is Memphis transfer JJ Taylor. Now, JJ Taylor, it's a different situation than Mikey Williams, but it's not the most far off. Obviously, the legal situation is different. There's not any, gun charge relation or anything like that. But with JJ Taylor, another freshman kid at Memphis, didn't play much. He's seen action in 3 games. And I know that kind of immediately puts a question mark as to his eligibility. Because of the NCAA's new transfer portal rules, I'm fairly certain that both the guys I'm mentioning in this video are immediately eligible to play. So the question does come down to, are you looking for a guy right here, right now that can help your squad out this season? Or do you want someone that can do both that and the future of your program? For the 2 guys I have today, I'm going to talk about one that's a junior, one that's a freshman. JJ Taylor being the freshman, let me read you his stats from 247 here. He elected to join the portal after not playing much in the first 3 games. Then he was suspended for some reasons for breaking team rules, they said. And for whatever reason, they basically announced, hey, he's still suspended, he's still serving suspension, and he said, you know what, I'm out, I'm transferring. Both Mikey Williams and JJ Taylor announced their transfer at the same day. Apparently, Mikey didn't even officially announce his portal entry before he announced his commitment to UCF, so that's kind of interesting. So JJ Taylor, I've got my stats pulled up off here, so if I look off screen, that's why. Former 4-star prospect in the class of 2023. He was the 136th ranked player in his class, the 31st ranked small forward, and the 20th ranked player from the state of California. He's 6'7", 185, and let me kind of tease this and talk about this. JJ Taylor has a lot of Naquan Talman in his game. He's got the kind of Kevin Durant model where it's a lengthier, slim guy that can play 1 through 5 if need be. I'm not saying that he's already Kevin Durant. I'm not saying that he's Chet Holmgren or any of that unicorn type player, but he's got that in his bag. He can step out and shoot the 3 ball really well at a high clip, to be honest. Now, here's the thing. When you get a kid as a freshman, you have a couple of years ahead with him. JJ Taylor likely could be a dude that would be a one-and-done type player, but now obviously not playing much, entering the portal, that stunts that whole growth process. He needs a coaching staff like Kansas State, and he'll get to the point where he can really develop and provide stuff. Now, the caveat to this for both guys I'll talk about today is there's going to be a role change than probably what some of these guys expect going into college basketball. With everybody available in the portal, it's not going to be they step onto the court and they're your number 1 option for K-State. You already have Cam Carter. You already have Arthur Kaluma. You already have Tyler Perry. So it's not just a cut and dry, perfect situation where you need a guy that can average 15 and 10 right off the jump. What JJ Taylor provides is the lengthy athleticism that you like. Now, Buddy Rich does have the athleticism. He's got the physical strength, so I don't want to just write that off. But what I like about JJ Taylor is you could really introduce kind of a big ball lineup or a big body lineup where at the 1, you can obviously rock with Tyler Perry. You can rock with the 2 guard being Cam Carter. Then you can go JJ Taylor at the 3, at 6'7", which is huge. Arthur Kaluma, same height, same, obviously stronger, a bit bigger at the 4. Then you can go David Gasson or Will McNair at the 5. You can introduce that style. And even if you want to flip out, if Cam Carter needs to sit or if Tyler Perry needs to sit, you can move everybody up 1 position and you'd be okay. JJ Taylor has the versatility that he could be a player that can step out and shoot the 3 ball, run the 2 guard if need be. But obviously that comes with a caveat, there's minutes restriction, there's time that he's going to have to put in for the team to get comfortable with the roster. What's good is he immediately gets to a point where, hey, he is another guy already on scout team, immediately on scout team. Not saying he's not going to play this year, but somebody that can help out in practice, and Coach Tang, we know, has talked about it, like, they're okay with moving forward without adding anybody. JJ Taylor and Mikey Williams originally, they were supposed to be a package duo. From what it sounded like, they were a package duo. They entered the portal together. I expect them to commit together. Mikey Williams, I guess, broke that up. And I don't mean that negatively. Maybe they talked about it. It's like, yeah, whatever. We'll just rock with it, whatever. JJ Taylor's available. Mikey Williams isn't. Now this opens up a unique spot because K-State has one roster spot available with the departure of Dantwan Grimes. You could slide it to JJ Taylor. He could step onto the court, and he could learn and develop in a role that, like, okay, I've watched what Arthur Kaluma can do. I can do that alongside of Buddy Rich. Like, the reason I like the fit is because JJ Taylor and Buddy Rich, they're both small forwards. They both have that ability, but they don't have to conflict when they're on the court together. Like, it's not that case. Looking at the team next year, if you can have JJ Taylor play a 3-guard, Mikayla Rich play a 4, or kind of rotate that out to however you want it, like, that's what I like about the fit. Because you're going to have David Castillo running your point. You're going to have Day-Day Ames or RJ Jones at your 2. Cam Carter, if you can keep Cam Carter for a senior year, which I fingers crossed would keep Cam is one of the best players in the Big 12 Conference. Wherever he wants to be, he's there. JJ Taylor, Buddy Rich, whoever you have at that low block position, these are good fits. So I wanted to talk about JJ a little bit. I didn't have a ton to say, but there is some good write-ups, some good information on him. He's got the ability, he's got the size, he's got the focus. It's just about talking to him and seeing where he's at mentally, because there is an adjustment to going from, hey, top 100 player to, okay, I got to understand my role. I got to defend, I got to rebound, I got to do what this coaching staff wants from me so I can get on the court more. Which it sounded like at Memphis, it just wasn't there, whatever reason. They have a ton of dudes that fit that role. Obviously, you add Dantwan Grimes halfway through the year, too. JJ Taylor's playing time kind of slipped through the cracks. And then also the relationship with the coaching staff didn't sound great. But he is a small forward from Chicago. Obviously, K-State's had that interest in Chicago-based athletes. You got Day-Day Ames. You got a couple different dudes from that area in the past. So JJ Taylor becomes an interesting fit. Now, the next player I want to talk about is one that you've probably seen on social media. If you haven't, let me talk to you about this kid, Dantwan Grimes. Now, the kid played at Baylor, and obviously the immediate thought is that Jerome Tang and Scott Drew had that relationship. There's an area you can call on. A former JUCO All-American, he posted his highlights on Twitter. The dude can ball. Like, he's a great player. Played a little bit at Baylor this season, but didn't get a ton of play time for whatever reason. Hits the portal. He's looking for somewhere else to go. He could be a really good fit in Manhattan. Now, here's the thing that you see. Now, I looked up his season stats for the past 2 seasons, or it might just be 1 season, for his stats at Kilgore and what he did. In 34 games played, he averaged 14.1 points, 38.7% shooting from the field, almost 36% from 3, as well as 81% from the free throw line, 4 rebounds a game, 3 assists per game. Watching his highlights, the dude is a special passer. He's a special athlete, and I think he'd be a really good fit. Is to someone that kind of provides what Quez Glover almost provided to an extent, like his role with the team. You have an experienced guard, someone that can step in, understand the offense, and go. And obviously you look at it and you say, well, he's jumping in late. He's jumping in late. He's got to learn a whole offense as Big 12 conference play starts. Like, that's a tough time for people to get adjusted. I think he'd be a good addition. A junior at the moment, he could step in and really compete this season as well as next season as he learns the ropes a little bit and just help to add a little bit more depth to the squad. K-State, I don't want to say we're not a depth team or we are a depth team, because I think every single game is going to look different because you're doing what needs to be done to win games. So some games you're going to play 7 guys, some games you're going to play all 12. Like, it's just going to be an even mix of that. So we saw 11 the other night and then 7 the game before that. Grimes is an interesting player because he could really fit, but I also do want to say there could be a detriment, maybe, like, not a detriment in him as a person, but like maybe he doesn't want to play for another Coach Drew type coach, which I imagine is probably not true. I think it might just be a playing time thing, but that could honestly be a little bit standoffish with the relationship to Coach Tang. Is that true? I'm not sure. I should also say before I read this tweet, it's not because Coach Tang's like a bad dude or not. Like, everybody in the world would want to play for a Coach Tang type dude, but if you just didn't make it work at Baylor, it might just be a little bit nerve-wracking to be like, well, I'm turning to a coach who worked at Baylor for 19 years, saw Coach Drew. What do I need to do? Is this going to change stuff? So that's the only reason I say that with that. I don't mean to say that he wouldn't want to play for Coach Tang, because if it were up to me, everybody in the country would want to play for Coach Tang. But there was a tweet that was posted out here from the Portal Report. They do a great job on Twitter. You should look into it. Baylor D1 transfer Dantwan Grimes told the Portal Report that he would like to stay in the Big 12. He's heard from teams all over so far since entering the portal, including a few programs in the Big 12. Big name transfer product out of Baylor. Now, does that mean K-State? I'm not sure. Likely, I would assume that there's maybe 3 or 4 teams with an open roster spot right now in the Big 12. I know K-State's got one. Texas Tech has one. West Virginia, you assume, has one. I'm not sure. Iowa State, same thing. So there's going to be interest for this kid. It's just a matter of, is the fit right? There's going to be an interesting cycle to follow because K-State's spring semester starts up on the 16th. One of these, they're going to want to get things fast. They're not just going to want to join halfway through the semester and be in trouble for school. Like, that's part of it. So I make this video to say, and maybe these kids will be committed by tomorrow to somewhere else, so this could all change rapidly fast, but K-State's going to have an opportunity to get a player at the deadline, but it's also a question of, hey, we don't necessarily need one right off the top of the head. Like, there's not a situation where this team has to force it to be a tournament team. And I'm seeing that a little bit, so I didn't want to just say, like, we have to have somebody, we're not going to do whatever. I believe in the team, I believe in the staff, I believe in the roster, but there's going to be a couple of guys eligible to join K-State, so I wanted to make this video just to point out a couple of them. Obviously, Mikey Williams is off the board. I would expect JJ Taylor, JJ Nelson's a receiver, JJ Taylor to follow suit here soon, maybe not to UCF, but just an announcement semi-soon. It'll be something to follow. It'll be something interesting to watch for, but I wanted to tell you guys this. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying warm. There is snow on the ground in Kansas here, so I hope wherever you're at, you are staying warm and inside. But guys, I just want to make this video real quick to discuss a couple of players. Will it work out? I'm not sure. Can it work out? Definitely. So something to watch for. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will talk to you soon. Go Cats.